Hello Year 3, happy Monday. I hope you had a lovely weekend. We are so excited by the news that we're going to be able to see you all again on the 8th of March. So this means that this is our final week of learning from home, a final week of videos. We're going to get to see you all again in person, have you back in school, and we are so excited. We hope you are too. So one final last push this week then to keep up the hard work that you've done for so many weeks now. So let's have a start of our English lesson today. Okay, so we have got our reading comprehension first of all to get us started, and today's text is called Gary's Big Adventure. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to have a read of the text and then answer the 4 comprehension questions in your book. Now remember, you do not need to copy out the whole question. You can just write the number in the margin and then your answer next to the number. And remember, you don't have to memorise the text. It will still be there for you to go back. So if you read a question and you can't remember the answer to it, or you don't remember seeing the answer to it in the text, go back to the text, read it as many times as you need to. In fact, the more times you read it, the more you will understand from it. You will get something different from it every time you read it through. And it is just a short one, so hopefully it won't take you too long to read it through a couple of times. Also, just remember, if there are any words in there that you're not sure of, try and read the whole sentence and see if you can work out what it means based on the sentence that it is in, okay? Also think about if there are any other words that you know that sound like it, look like it, that might help you out. Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause the video here and have a go at that. Off you go. Okay then, so I am going to read the text aloud to you so that you can hear it out loud, and I'm also going to talk through what goes through my mind as I'm reading it, because we should be being active readers, which means as you're reading, you should be, first of all, picturing in your mind what you're reading. So you should be visualizing a picture of what you're reading. And also, you should be asking lots of questions, okay? It's really important to ask yourself lots of questions as you're reading, because that shows that you're understanding what you're reading and that you want to find out more about what is going on. So there should be questions that pop up in your mind as you're reading. And I'm just going to read aloud and talk you through what's going on through my mind so you can get an idea of what's going on. So, Gary's Big Adventure. Gary knew that he needed to find a vantage, a place which would give him a good view of the entire rainforest. So first sentence, first of all, I'm thinking, okay, who's Gary? I've obviously got a picture down here, which helps me. So it gives me a bit of a clue that Gary is probably this blue frog down here. Might not be, but that's a question that's going through my mind here, first of all, okay? I also picked up on this word here, needed. Gary knew that he needed to find a vantage, which is a place which gives him a good view of the entire rainforest. So a place that's nice and high up so he can see the whole rainforest. And I'm thinking about this word needed, and I'm thinking, why does he need to find a place? So it's obviously a matter of urgency, because he needs to find. It's not like he just wants a nice view of the rainforest. He's interested to know what it looks like. It says that he needed to find a vantage. So straight away I'm thinking, well, whoever Gary is, he's obviously in a position where he needs to do something. There's a bit of urgency there. He might be in a bit of trouble. I don't know, but these are all the questions that are swirling around in my head as I'm reading. Okay, next bit then. Without that, a tiny frog like him would never be able to find them. Oh, okay, I've got a lot more information from that sentence there. It's only a short sentence, but I now know that he's a tiny frog, okay? And I also know that he's looking for somebody. So without having a place that he can view the entire rainforest, he's never going to be able to find them. Another question that's pinged up in my mind at this point is, who is them? Who is he looking for? I wonder. I'm thinking at this point already, it's probably somebody, a family member. Okay, that's what I would think. It says that he's a tiny frog, so I'm assuming that he's still a baby maybe, and he's looking for members of his family. He's lost them. So just in the first 2 sentences, that's the information that's going through my mind and the questions and the things that I'm thinking about. And as you read, that's what should be going on in your mind as well. You might not have exactly the same thoughts and questions, but you should have some thoughts and questions going on about what you're reading. But where could he go? He was surrounded by acres of thick, dense vegetation, no cliffs, no waterfalls. Suddenly, he had an idea. He stretched out his toes as wide as they would go and jumped towards the nearest tree trunk. Clinging on, he climbed higher and higher until he finally reached the canopy. He stood atop the wide-reaching fronds, looking towards the horizon in search of 2 tiny blue specks, which looked just like him. So that bit there, I'm thinking, okay, he's looking for 2 blue specks. So he's obviously looking for 2 blue frogs who look just like him. I'm wondering why he's referred to them as blue specks, but then I'm thinking, well, he's really high up at this point looking down on the rainforest. So as he's looking down on the rainforest, any frogs that he sees they're gonna look tiny, aren't they? Because he's so far away from them. So that's why he's called them 2 blue specks, tiny blue specks. He actually means frogs who look just like him, but they're just gonna look like 2 little blue moving specks from where he is because he's so far away. Just as he had given up hope, an auburn orangutan swung by, carrying 2 sticky blue lumps on her back. ... So I've got a cliffhanger here. I don't know how it's going to end, but I'm hoping that the 2 sticky blue lumps are frogs clinging onto the orangutan's back. So that's what's going through my mind. And I'm now thinking, I wonder what Gary's going to do. And that's one of the questions. So I'll be interested to have a look and see your answers for that. Okay. So answers, you can mark your own. So question 1, which 2 tall natural features was Gary unable to go to? So this was here talking about in the first paragraph. He was surrounded by acres of thick, dense vegetation, no cliffs and no waterfalls. So in the question, it asks you which 2. So make sure you always read the question carefully and you do give that number in your answer. If you just give 1, then you won't get the mark for that. So you should have written cliffs and waterfalls for that. Question 2. Gary knew that he needed to find a vantage. What do you think vantage means in this sentence? Well, it actually tells you in the text. It says, Gary knew that he needed to find a vantage. And then it says, a place which would give him a good view of the entire rainforest. So if you have a vantage, it means that you have a really good view of something. So vantage means a place which is high up with a good view of his surroundings, or you might have said with a good view of the rainforest. So if you wrote something along those lines, well done. Question 3, who do you think Gary is looking for? So we kind of had this conversation and hopefully that was already going on in your head as you were reading it. So what we should have been thinking there is that he's probably looking for family members, parents or his siblings. And because it says here, use evidence from the text to support your answer, if you just wrote his parents, that's great, but you wouldn't get the mark for that because you haven't gone back to the text and given any information from the text about why you think that. So you should have said something like, I think he's looking for his parents, or family members, because in the text it says that he was searching, he was looking in search of 2 tiny blue specks which looked just like him. So that's the key bit there that helps you to know that he's looking for a family member. So hopefully you were able to include that bit from the text in your answer. And finally, question 4. What do you think Gary will do next? So this is one of those inference questions which the answer isn't in the text. You can't go back to the text and pick out the answer for this one, because it's asking you what you think. And we're looking for your predictions here. If you said something like, I think that Gary will try and talk to the orangutan. I think that Gary will follow the orangutan. I think that he might try and shout down to his parents to try and get their attention. Any of those reasonable things that we would expect Gary to do in that situation. Something that you wouldn't expect him to do is just to jump off and run in the other direction, because we know that he's looking for them. The text has made that clear. We know that he wants to find them. So when he sees 2 blue lumps on the back of the orangutan, he's not just going to run off in the opposite direction and leave them. He wants to find them. So it needs to be something reasonable that we think Gary would do. So post your answers on Seesaw as part of today's work and we can have a look. Okay, so on to today's lesson. Quick recap. Which letters are vowels? Please pause the video here and write the vowels down in your book. There are 5. Can you remember them all? Off you go. Okay, let's have a look at the answers then. So A, E, I, O, U. Well done if you managed to get all of those. Well done if you even managed to get just one of them. Okay. Now, I just want to talk very quickly before we start today's lesson about the letter Y. So these are our vowel letters, A, E, I, O, U. However, the letter Y is sometimes called a vowel, okay? And that's because sometimes it makes a vowel sound when it's in certain words. So the letter Y can make lots of different sounds in words, just like lots of other letters as well. It's a bit confusing, our language. But for example, in the word yellow, the Y in that word is making the Y sound, yellow, like in the word yes, yellow, okay? However, when the Y is in the word happy, it's making a vowel sound because it's making that long E sound, happy. So that's why sometimes we call the letter Y a vowel as well, okay? Because sometimes it makes a vowel sound. And also in the word gym, it's making the short I sound, J, I, okay? Even though it's a Y, it's making that vowel sound there. So that might come up as a vowel sound in today's lesson. Okay, now today's lesson we're going to be looking at something called syllables. Now, hopefully you've already heard of this word. If you haven't, don't worry. This is something that we talk about quite a lot in spelling lessons because it helps us with spelling as well. So what I would like you to do is watch this video here, and I've put the video link in the video description below the video, so that you can pause the video on here and then go in and click on that link there to watch it. Now in the video it explains to you what a syllable is, and also it explains how to break words down into syllables. So pause the video here, watch the video, and then come back and we will move on. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. So in the video, it talked about breaking words down into syllables, okay? A syllable is a chunk of a word. So we can chunk words out into syllables, and it can help us with spelling and all sorts of things. Now, we are going to be splitting words up into syllables today and finding out how many syllables there are in lots of different words. In the video, it gave you a way of finding out how many syllables there are in a word, and the one of the best ways is the one where they asked you to put your hand under your chin, and every time your chin moves down to your hand, that means that you've said another syllable. So for example, in the word hand, how many times did my chin touch my hand? When I say the word hand, watch carefully and look. Hand. How many times did my chin go down? Just once, okay? It just went down once. Hand. So in the word hand, there is just one syllable, okay? If my chin was to go down more than once, then that would show me that there are two syllables, okay? And we'll have a look at some examples in today's lesson. So a syllable is just a chunk of a word or a beat of a sound, so it's a bit of a rhythm. Okay, so this is where you're going to have a go. You don't need to write anything down for this. You can just do this and just say it out loud and then see if you got the answers correct, because there is going to be an activity at the end of the lesson for you to do. So this is just practice, okay? So how many syllables in this word sit? So you can practice by putting your hand just under your chin. Sit, sit. How many times does your chin drop down to your hand? So how many syllables do you think there are in the word sit? There is just one syllable in the word sit. The reason that we looked at vowel letters earlier is because usually a syllable has a vowel sound in it, only one vowel sound per syllable. So in this whole word, there is this vowel sound here in the middle, the I sound, and so there's only one vowel sound and there's only one syllable. So that is a way that you can help yourself to identify how many syllables there are in a word, because it's usually linked to how many vowel sounds there are in that word. That will become a bit more obvious the more examples that we do, so stay with me. Okay, play. So have a little think about the vowels, how many vowel sounds are there in that word, and then also test out saying it with your hand under your chin. Play. And see how many times does your chin hit your hand. How many syllables do you think are in the word play? There is one syllable again in the word play. You've got this long vowel sound here, the A sound. So it's just one whole syllable, okay? As we get on to looking at longer words, you will see how it works with having more than one syllable. Okay, so happy. So have a think about how many vowel sounds there are that you can hear in happy, okay? Remember, we've got this Y at the end, which has got a vowel sound. Also have a go at doing the hand under your chin and saying it. Happy, happy. How many times does your chin touch your hand? Have a think about how many syllables you think are in the word happy. Well done if you said two. There are two syllables in the word happy, okay? Happy. We've got this vowel sound here, the A sound, and we've got this E vowel sound here. So happy. Okay, seven. Have a go. Seven. How many syllables do you think are in the word seven? You can hold the right number of fingers up to the screen. You can say it to the screen. You don't have to write it down. Well done if you said two. Seven. There are two vowel sounds. We can split the word into its syllables. Seven. Okay. Triangles. Try saying that word. Triangle. How many syllables do you think are in that word? 3. Well done if you said 3. We've got our vowels here. The try, we've got the long I sound. The angle, we've got the ah sound. And we've got this at the end, although you don't really hear it as a vowel sound, but we've got that on the end. So we've got triangle, triangle. Purple, purple. How many syllables are in the word purple? Have a think. Well done if you said 2. Purple. Got that vowel sound there and vowel at the end there. Purple. Totally, totally, totally. How many syllables are in the word totally? Well done if you said 3. Totally. My chin hits my hand 3 times when I say the word totally. Experiment, experiment. Bit of a tricky one, that one. I'm sure you're up to it. How many? Have a go. If you need a bit more time, if I'm going through it too quickly, remember you can pause the video. There are 4 syllables in the word experiment. We've got the e vowel sound at the beginning. Experiment. 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 So you can see there is a vowel letter in each of the syllable chunks here. E in that one, E in that one, I, and then E. So they are split around the vowels in the word. So that's why we did a recap of vowel letters at the start of the lesson, because vowel letters are really important for recognising syllables. Experiment, 4 syllables. Hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. Just 2 in that word. Don't be fooled by the fact that there is an O and an E there, because we know that actually they just make one vowel sound because it's a split digraph. So we know that that just makes the O sound. So we've got hopeless, okay? Hopeless. Everywhere. 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 How many times does it hit your chin? 3 times. Everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, quick quiz. You don't have to write these down because, as I say, you've got your activity to do, but this is just a quick practice quiz. So which of these words has 3 syllables? Is it A, lovely, B, fire, C, happily, or D, fox? Remember, you can pause the video if you need a bit more time, but I'm going to reveal the answer now, and the answer is C, happily. Happily, okay? Hap, and then you've got the I in the middle, and then the li at the end, happily. Lovely, did you see how many syllables were in the word lovely? Lovely, 2 syllables in lovely. Fire, 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 2 syllables in the word fire. And fox, 1 syllable in the word fox. Okay, which of these words has 2 syllables? Is it A, car, B, candle, C, sun, or D, completely? The answer is B, candle. Candle or candle. You can split it in different places depending on how you say the word, but you've got the 2 vowels there, The syllables are around those two vowels. Candle. Car has of course got one syllable. Sun has of course got one syllable. Completely has got 3 syllables in it. Which of these words has 2 syllables? Is it sunglasses, somewhere, hopefully, or dog? Okay, remember you can pause it if you need more time, if you're not ready for the answer yet. The answer is somewhere. Somewhere. Okay. Sunglasses. How many syllables do you think is in the word sunglasses? Sunglasses. 3 syllables. Hopefully. Hopefully. 3 syllables again. Hopefully. And dog is 1 syllable. Which word has 3 syllables? Is it because, expected, flower, or like? The answer is expected has 3 syllables. Because has 2 syllables. Because. Flower has 2 syllables. Flower. Like has 1 syllable. Like. It's got that digraph, split digraph for the long I sound in the word like. Okay, it is now time for you to have a go at the activity sheet that is attached to this lesson on Seesaw. So don't forget to post your answers on Seesaw so that we can mark it and see how you got on with today's lesson. Well done, everybody.